God bless your life. Welcome to a new video. I want to address a topic that many people are not even aware that it exists. Spiritual resistance against our prayers. The enemy does not want you to pray. This is the first thing that I want to tell you. He does not want you to pray. Praying is an act of war. Praying is fighting battles. And many people, they are not aware of that, but the enemy is. The enemy is. He knows that praying is an act of war. And in that war, you're not alone. Because when you pray, you have a relationship with God. And what happens when you have a relationship with somebody? You create a bond. You create a bond with that person. So when we have relationships with people, we create a bond with them. And with God, it's no different. When we pray to God, we're creating a bond with Him. And God is our ally. So you connect your heart to God's heart. And God is your ally in that war. And believe me, if He's your ally, He's actually in that war. And what happens when you have a war and God is in that war? You cannot lose. You can simply not lose. You know why? Because God is victory. God Himself, He is victory. He's victorious. He will always win all wars, all fights. So with God on your side, you can only win. And the devil knows that. The enemy knows that. The unclean spirits know that. And they fight against people. So those people can't win. And they do that in many ways. I would say that there are different stages of them fighting against prayer. The first stage is trying to prevent people from praying. Have you ever felt that sensation like, well, today I don't feel like praying, we feel very lazy, or, well, I'm not sure if that will work out, I'm not sure if this will even produce results, disbelief, or you feel unmotivated. You bring up all those excuses. All those excuses, they start appearing inside you. And those excuses, they sometimes do not come from you. They sometimes come from the devil. They sometimes come from the devil. Not always, but sometimes they come from the devil. Why is that? Because he does not want you to fight, because he knows if you fight and God is on your side, you will win. So this is the first stage, preventing people from praying. However, there's also another stage, a second stage, and I will go into more detail, but before that, I would like to read a few verses from the book of Daniel, chapter 10, starting from verse 10. Suddenly a hand touched me, which made me tremble on my knees and on the palms of my hand. And he said to me, O Daniel, man greatly beloved, understand the words that I speak to you, and stand upright, for I have now been sent to you. While he was speaking these words to me, I stood trembling. Then he said to me, Do not fear, Daniel, for from the first day that you set your heart to understand and to humble yourself before God, your words were heard. And I have come because of your words. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. And behold, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, for I had been left alone there with the kings of Persia. What does that mean? I want you to understand something. We are inserted in two worlds. There is a physical world, where, for example, what you're now seeing with your eyes is the physical world. For example, I can touch here now my shirt because it's physical. It's matter. So, well, you can see the physical world. You can see all the matter because, well, it's matter. It's physical. However, you can also there's also another world, which is the spiritual world, and the spiritual world is connected to all the physical stuff. And the enemy, he fights in the spiritual world. And when you pray, you're actually fighting in that spiritual world as well. This is one thing that we have to understand. So in the physical world, all the fights, all the wars happen. Good against evil. God against the devil and his demons. So well, all the fights, all the wars happen in the spiritual realm of this world. However, this is only one part. The spiritual world is actually very organized, because when you take a look at the Bible, and when you get to understand all the things that have happened and that are written in that book, you will see that there's a pattern. And God's kingdom is very organized. There are angels. Their duty is to be messengers, to transmit messages from God. But however, there are also angels that their duty is to fight. So this makes sense after we have read this text here, because from what I understood, one angel, he is a messenger, and the other one, his duty is to fight. So this is what I think, this is what I believe, and what I understood here. However, with demons, how can I say, they're also very organized. They also have a hierarchy like in God's kingdom. And Prince of Persia, many people, they think, okay, this makes no sense. Was there a human prince or what? No, it's not a human prince, it's actually a demon. So I think there are demons who run entire countries, and they have demons under them who maybe run cities, and others that run neighborhoods. So there's actually a hierarchy. And what happens? Daniel was praying, he was asking God for a response, for an intervention. And if we read here again in the verse 12, then he said to me, "Do not fear, Daniel, for from the first day that you set your heart to understand and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come because of your words." So this means when you pray, God will always respond. So he sent an angel for the response. As a response, he sent an angel towards Daniel. And what happened? But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days, and behold, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me. What does that mean? The response of God, there was resistance against the response of God. So the kingdom of the enemy tried to prevent God's response in Daniel's life. And Daniel at that time, it's very important to note, he was fasting. And why was he fasting? Fasting is a spiritual discipline. When you fast, something supernatural happens. Maybe nobody told this to you, but actually I learned this a time ago with my pastor, and when I learned it, it totally makes sense. When you fight, when you're praying and you are fasting, what fasting does, it concentrates, especially if you're fasting for purpose, it concentrates all God's power on one point. So on one blockade in that text here. So there was actually a blockage against the response of God in Daniel's life. So when he was fasting, all the power of God was concentrated on that blockage at that point. So you can imagine it like a tree. When you have a tree and you try to make it fall, you're actually applying force on one single point of the tree all the time until it falls. And this is also how spiritual battles work. So God's power is concentrated on one point, and God's power will always prevail against all evil. And this is why the blockage here was destroyed. So I want to just let you know, maybe for that reason you're waiting for an answer from God and you still haven't received it, because of course I don't want to be a hypocrite here. Sometimes we ask God for things that he does not want to give to us for a good reason. Because when I remember back at my early days when I came to God first, I asked him for many stuff, for a lot of things that also, when I think today, when I compare it today, they were not good things, and God had something better for me. So I'm actually happy that he said no to me. So sometimes God will say no. However, if you're asking God for an intervention, if you need God's hand in one problem, in one cause, you need a solution, you need an answer from Him, can be that there is spiritual resistance against your answer. And when you have identified this, the best way to fight against that is to enter fasting, because fasting will concentrate God's power in one single point. However, I will be doing another video about fasting in the future, and because of that, I would like to ask you, please subscribe so you don't miss any video. And yes, I'm sure that God will do marvelous things through this ministry here, because my goal is really to help you grow closer to God, to help you win those battles that you are fighting. And I think also this is my purpose. My purpose is to be, well, is to be a blessing in your life, and this is all that I'm trying to do. So please, if you're not subscribed, subscribe and leave a thumbs up in this video, and share it with your friends, share it with people at church. I'm sure that they will be also very, very blessed. So see you on the next video, and take care.